Thank you, Brother Steve. Well, again, as we enter into chapter 6 of our study through the book of Esther, the passage opens up with a completely different scene from where we left off last week in chapter 5. Kind of like if the book of Esther was a play, if you were there in the audience of a play on a stage there, the curtain would have been drawn there after chapter 5, and then kind of had an intermission, and then the curtain opens up to a completely different scene and setting here in chapter 6. That's kind of where we're at in the text of Scripture. But just in way of review, you recall in chapter 5, Queen Esther was allowed to enter into the king's presence after not seeing him for those 30 days, an illegal move, as we read about and studied last time. And so she was really nervous about that, but to her surprise, the king is so happy to see her that he actually, not only is he happy to see her, but actually offers her literally half of his kingdom, half of his rule there. And as we studied, rather than taking the king up on that offer right then and there, she invites King Ahasuerus, and as well as the enemy of the Jews here that we've been reading about over the last couple weeks, Haman the Agagite, invites them to a feast that she had prepared. And so the king and Haman, they take part in that feast, after which Esther invites them to yet another feast the next day. So the story then turns to Haman and how happy he was, his jubilation, his joy over having been such an important person, to have been invited to this private, feast, this private party with just the king and queen and himself. But that joy and that kind of jubilation, it would soon be squashed, because on his way home, he sees yet again